Thank you very much for joining us once again this Wednesday evening. From 9 p.m. to 11, we discuss the Ballot 2026. We focus on the upcoming elections, the most important perhaps of which is going to take place in January. Now we know the dates. And nominations for members of parliament started today. We know that the Electoral Commission has told us that the elections will take place on the 15th of January next year. And now the Electoral Commission is working to have the nominations of about 500 electoral positions. Thousands of candidates in different places have set themselves to go and offer themselves to the people. And that's the work we are now looking at. And it is critical that we all mobilize ourselves. We mobilize each other, and we take part in voting. It's important that we take part in voting because we hand over power to those who are going to make decisions on our behalf for the next 5 years or even beyond. And so it's critical that we discuss these matters, that we dissect these matters, that we pay attention to these matters, and finally we go and participate. That is why Family TV is hosting this program, the Ballot 2026, and you are welcome to stay with us during the show. My name is Baguma Richard, and I'm your host for the show. And I have guests in studio, 3 guests. On my immediate right is the Executive Director of Ushahidi Foundation in Uganda, Faridah Lule. Faridah was with us on the inaugural show of this program, the Ballot 2026, and we are happy to have her again, and she will be speaking to you in a minute. Next is Christopher Lwanga. Christopher Lwanga is the head of ideology and research at the Uganda People's Congress, UPC. And the extreme side is my colleague, Daniel Rugarama. Daniel Rugarama is the chair of the Pan-African movement in Uganda. He's a lawyer, and he has worked in the elections area, and now an analyst of elections. You're most welcome, my panel, and I'm proud to have you here. Lule, I start with you. Say hello to our viewers.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, our viewers. I'm glad to be back on the ballot today. I think this can actually be a ballot. We can be candidates for Family TV. Otherwise, I'm happy to be back. And thank you, Baguma, for hosting me, and Family TV also for the trust.
Mr. Lwanga, say hello to our viewers.
Good evening, viewers. I'm very happy to be here for such a wonderful topic, or discussion, the Ballot 2026, and at the same time, very, very thankful for Church of Uganda to have put there such a facility, and went beyond putting a facility and coming to have such a program. Then at a personal level, I'm indeed happy to be hosted by one of the renowned panelists I've been following at a distance. This is Mr. Baguma. I've seen him on various media houses with his balanced views. Let us hope as he occupies that chair, he will even be more balanced.
Thank you very much, Bwana Lwanga. Yes. Today, I as a moderator, I feel disadvantaged, because then I leave the floor to you. I keep my own views, especially to myself. So, but Daniel, the Pan-Africanist who has an English name, you are very welcome.
And before you go for him,
yes.
Messages from Honorable Jim McKenna,
yes,
who is still struggling to get late nomination.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Daniel, say hi to our viewers.
Yes.
The English name will be dropped at an appropriate time. I take this single opportunity to thank the family of the Family TV And I cross-associate myself with this family TV because it is our direct product as members of the Anglican faith. But most importantly, I thank them because this is yet another milestone, because I think I have heard and on very good record that the content of Family TV is one of the best. And I think that is something to thank the members for, because we have been fighting with the issue of content. And finally, maybe on this is that I thank you in particular, my colleague and old comrade, Baguma, for inviting me, because there are millions of people out there. They could as well come and occupy this chair. And I'm looking forward to having a very fruitful debate, and probably also coming another time.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, we are going to talk about money on this show. The money factor in our elections. Some say democracy is for sale. Others say leadership is on mortgage. Others say this is a way of keeping people disenfranchised and giving them token. It is tokenism in our electoral processes. The Electoral Commission has now confirmed that the parliamentary and presidential elections will take place on the 15th of January. And the Electoral Commission also, the chairman, like he said, we have campaigns officially from November 10, up to 13 January. Already we have seen quite an amount of money exchanging hands. We expect that between these dates that the Electoral Commission has announced, it will be raining money in some places. And a lot of concern has been expressed by many people about the levels of monetization and the expenses that this election and the previous elections have witnessed. So I will start with you, Rugarama. Are you concerned at all about this money factor in the current electoral process?
Yes, concerned I am, and I think that our chairman, Justice Ushahidi, differentiated in that clip which you played, differentiated between the kind of money that is allowed under the law and that which is not allowed under the law. Unfortunately, there is a thin line between what is allowed and what is not allowed. We are talking about a population, and I'm glad that my colleagues here, by way of introduction, have realized that there are issues of civic education and voter education. We are talking about the population of Uganda, where consistently, every time that an election petition has been taken to court, there has always been a reference to the effect that we need to improve our levels of civic education, voter education, because in majority of the cases, the electoral offenses and even the criminal offenses that Justice Ushahidi has been talking about are as a consequence of the voter who is not educated, both by way of voter education and civic education. Whether that is deliberate, and it is not only in Uganda, whenever I have had opportunity, I have told the audience that I had an opportunity to work with the Electoral Commission in Uganda for a solid 14 years. That's not a small period.
So,
And,
so you were the one who brought in monetization. You're part of the group.
Well, for us, we are referees. So the participants, the participants, the ones who are seeking for the mandate of the people, and the ones who are giving the mandate to the people who are seeking it, probably are the ones who can only participate in that, to a larger extent, of course. But the point here is, even when you look at the so-called bigger democracies, quote-unquote bigger democracies, you go to a country like United States of America, the issue of money, actually, if my memory serves me right, the Trump and the Republican and the Democrat candidates in the recently concluded have they made the year in America, the amounts of monies they were using was out of this world. And one would say, no, but you see, their money was not to directly influence the voters. I disagree. I must remind you that you called the Pan-African here, and you must be ready for some of these views which may not necessarily be, the conventional way of looking at issues. Because in all fairness, is that corruption in the so-called bigger democracies is at an institutional level, but hidden. You do not see it with your naked eyes, but it is all corruption. Now here, we have got corruption which is at an individual level, whereby somebody gives another person money to influence the result. But of course, I'm not saying that so that I justify, therefore, that if it is being done in America, if it is probably being done in majority Western Europe, then it is okay for us to do it. We saw what happened, and I happen to be a member of the NRM. We saw what happened in the NRM Kamyufu.
Are you concerned?
Absolutely. In answering your question, that's why I brought that example. That what happened in the NRM primaries.
Primaries, yes.
I don't know the correct English word to use, but I'm glad that even the chairman of the party came up and expressed dissatisfaction. He said this cannot be allowed. And although there are rumors that he was misquoted, that's where the issue of allowing those who felt dissatisfied to go and contest came from. Now, that's not how they build multi-party democracy. In that light, therefore, I'm greatly concerned that the use of money in our elective politics is directly for purposes of influencing what comes out. And in majority of the cases, if not in all cases, when that happens, the quality of service delivery is compromised ab initio.
Lwanga, the chairman of the Electoral Commission also admitted that when you are going for an election, you have to have money. So, have you collected the billions to spend, and and if you don't spend the money, do you expect to get any useful results?
Thanks very much, the Chief Moderator, and thanks very much for reciting those words from the Chairman of the Electoral Commission. However, I'm at a crossroads. The Chairman of the Electoral Commission is a Ugandan. The one who is hosting us, Chief Baguma, Chief Moderator Baguma, is a Ugandan. Why don't we ask ourselves, where did this rain of money find us? when did it come in? What factors brought it on the surface? Okay. Is it the money we need for facilitation, party work and candidate work? Or it is money for other dubious reasons? I come from a party which participated in pioneering politics under the trademark of Uganda National Congress. But from 1952 to 1960, at the time of the merger of Uganda People's Union and Uganda National Congress to give birth to UPC on the 9th March 1960, these issues of lack of resources, of a politician misbehaving with the money, they are there. But the parties of that time, they had a bigger agenda which could accommodate some of that excesses minus blowing off. The legacy of Uganda National Congress under Ignatius Kanga Musas was that every member, where possible, raise that small coin worth syringe, okay, and we put it together, then we match. And what was the agenda of Uganda National Congress? Please embark on the decolonization and independence struggle. Ensure that the motto of one man, one vote, self-rule now will work. Other issues are immaterial, but we must have that credibility. Now, the bigger enemy of Uganda or Uganda National Congress decided to cause splits. They were not splitting because of manufacturers, they were splitting because the imperial master was worried of that yellow card, that we want self-government now. And that yellow card could easily translate into a red card, as it happened on 9th October 1962. However, Uganda National Congress gave us a formula on how we can remove a political agenda.
But now are we moving that agenda? Like
yes, I'm trying to explain to you.
Yes.
Such that you understand it.
Yeah.
Our founding father, Dr. Apollo Milton Obote, when he saw that the Uganda National Congress is caught up with the issue of resources, he simply led the way and said, in Ahokoro City, we have our canoe business, we are fishermen. We have our... This salary I'm getting as a medical member, I'm putting it there as a starting point where Uganda National Congress can do its mathematics. Good enough also, others like this Mutologian, former Vice President, Babiha, they joined in. Then the party started widening.
But even now,
okay,
even now,
no,
people collect money and the pot becomes big. So what's the difference?
I'm trying to say,
yes,
these are putting their money to mitigate, to meet all the needs of their party.
Even now.
Okay, no,
yes.
Now it is different.
Tell me the difference.
The difference is we evolved this new politics in 2006 from the background of merit politics, or individual merit politics, where everybody was competing against each other. Now, in that competing against each other, Baguma could say, me, I'm more educated. Vote me because I have 3 degrees. Another one will say, no, me vote me because I have more money, I can attend to your problems. Me vote for me because I have more houses, I can accommodate you. Me vote for me. Nobody was talking a party. And we lived in that system for close to 20 years. By the time we moved to multi-partyism, you had not removed that DNA
of money.
And that DNA of money minus lack of political culture came in now and engulfed our political landscape. Okay. However, what I want to say before I hand over to you is that when now the Obotes realized that that is a significant money to run a big agenda, they sat down, what do we do? They said a political party must have an economic wing. Minus an economic wing, you cannot deliver. You will want to articulate party policies, but how will they move from one point to another point? So they wanted UPC now to go fully in business. The laws of that time could not allow. And instead, a shortcut was to form Milton Obote Foundation as an economic wing of the party.
So what do? We all form foundations now?
Yes, we need, each party needs an economic wing.
And so...
Okay? Because like now, take an example.
No, but you are taking me deeper into the discussion where we had not reached.
Yeah.
Because you are prescribing solutions.
Yes.
Where I was really looking at is, are you concerned about this monetization? Do you have the money? If you don't have, isn't it affecting you? Before we go to what we do.
I'm terribly concerned, okay? Because what has happened now, okay, has made political parties economically very weak.
Okay.
Have made the party members economically very weak, okay? And as a result of people being very weak, political parties being very weak, even our democracy is weakening.
Thank you.
Yes.
Faridah, your foundation is supposed to teach us about voting. This foundation, the last time we spoke, you didn't have money. So if the voter education money is not there, but there is money to give the voters, will they listen to you?
Probably no, because I think we got it wrong from the start. When the Electoral Commission presents its budget for voter education, that is the very line that Parliament starts with to cut. Maybe Finance also, Minister of Finance starts with that budget. No, cut the budget of voter education. That's what they say. So even us, if we don't have money, we cannot actually say anything because the voters are actually yearning for money. The poverty levels cannot even stand for a voter to stand to listen to me when I am actually speaking, trying to make sense of what is required of the voter. But because this voter has no money in his pocket and is looking at the politician, you cannot say anything. Even if the organization gets money to carry out voter education, the voters who are hungry to get money will not listen to me, but they will be able to run and listen. If I put a Larry to speak to voters and also a politician who has money, definitely I will not have people. But at the end of the day, I will be making sense, but they will not see that sense at that point. But it will make sense when a politician does not report back and they will never see him again. So that is when it will make sense, when it is too late.
Yeah, but tell me, Faridah, when you go to educate these voters, and the voters are like me, they are asking if people have their money and they are bringing it to us, what's your problem?
Yeah, my problem, what are they bringing it to for what? Why are they bringing this money for what? So ask yourself as a voter, if this person is genuinely going to represent me, why should he have to buy me, to buy my vote? If your intentions are good, then you don't even have to come and bribe me. What I should expect from you is actually to represent my voice. And then from that voice, I should expect an impact. How? Maybe my tomatoes will get market. Because my voice is that I do not have market for my tomatoes. And you are saying that government My Faridah in Butambara, she's actually producing a lot of tomatoes, and she needs market for her tomatoes. Then government will work around a program to make sure that me and other people who are actually producing so many tomatoes have market for that. And that voice, I will feel that my representative has actually represented me. But the voters, to understand that cycle, it is also going to be difficult. But I wanted to take you back a little bit on how many MPs were nominated in 2021. Electoral Commission nominated 2,043.
That is the candidates that were for member of parliament. Yeah.
And in when you add up the youth, the workers, and the UPDF,
all the
interest groups, it came to 2,801. How much did the Electoral Commission make from the nomination fees? 8 billion. Only because each member pays 3 millions. So if Electoral Commission makes 8 billion in nominations, why can't we have part of that money go to voter education? And we at least make sense of this process. We are urging government to allow, to actually look into the money that the Electoral Commission makes out of these candidates, to have it transferred, part of it, go to voter education, such that we can ably sensitize our voters. We can actually air out these issues, we discuss these issues, and let these voters make informed voices. But right now they cannot, because most of them do not even understand the processes. And when it comes to voter bribery, we all know that it is criminal. But even the people, if I go to court, maybe I put voter bribery as one of the incidents, that this is evidence that my opponent bribed voters, and I'm asking, my prayer to the court is, please cancel this election. The court, maybe sometimes when you present evidence, they will cancel. But this person who has actually even committed a criminal case is left scot-free. The DPP does not even go for that person. So this person, when an election is actually organized, the by-election is organized, you would see the same criminal coming back to participate in this election. So where is the problem? Why can't we have identified the problem. Why can't we as a country address this challenge? So can't we sensitize these MPs that when you go to court, those people who have lost, when you are lodging a case, your prayer should be that on top of cancelling this election, your lordship, your worship, please, this person should be criminalized, is a criminal, should be taken straight to prison. And immediately when the election is cancelled, the police is there. So let's see how these people will still again bribe voters. The police is there, the PP is there to handle that case as long as the court has actually found this person guilty. Let these other institutions also take that initiative to arrest this person, and this person should be taken to prison. Maybe we'll see some change. And also, the president has also seen, he has seen the nasty incidents in this election of utilizing, of how people are using money. When there was a research which actually indicated that one MP could actually spend in an election over 800 million and $1 billion shilling. All that money, where is it coming from? So I think the president has an answer at his hands, that you can decide to reduce the allowances, the salary of MPs, and let it go to 1 million. Let's see how people will fight to actually enter parliament and spend all this money if the salary for the MP is reduced.
Rugarama, I think you see, I was talking to one person, and he said there is this argument, and you seem all to be making the same argument, about equalization of poverty and the discrimination of the wealthy. That people have their money, they are bringing it to get political office, like they would take it to have holidays or big weddings or build marvelous houses. But when it comes to politics, you all seem to be pushing for equalization of poverty.
You see what is interesting, Comrade Baguma? I have I've listened carefully to my sister Faridah, and I agree with her.
About equalization of poverty?
No. I largely, I agree with her submission. I share the pain she's experiencing. But I'm not a prophet of doom, but I'm here to remind her that she's still crying. She's not about to stop. You see, voter education is occasional. And I hope, Faridah, that's what you do. You get a period where Electoral Commission, because the mandate of voter education is with the Electoral Commission Uganda. The mandate of civic education is with human rights, according to our laws, with human rights, Uganda human rights. And you look at their budgets. A component like civic education, which should be continuous, because that empowers a voter, that empowers a citizen to differentiate between a person asking for a mandate, the determinants, the parameters. What am I empowered as a citizen, as a voter, to be able to know that somebody coming to seek for my mandate is supposed to deliver on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That civic education component.
You continue with your argument that way. But you also seem to be saying that they should be educated, that the people should not come with money. It's as if coming with money is a problem.
I'm coming to that. You see, money, actually I started off, if you remember, Baguma, I started off by telling you that even in the so-called bigger democracies, those who give themselves those titles, like America, Britain, majority of Western Europe and what have you, the amount of monies which they use in their respective electoral processes is out of this world. They use quite a lot of money. We are talking about billions of dollars. A man like Elon Musk donated himself alone hundreds of millions of dollars to the Trump campaign. Just a single person. Now you can imagine, they were fundraising, where was all that money going? And now how are they running the government? This is the corruption I was talking about. Elon Musk has got a hand in how the government of America is being run. Why? He put in a lot of money. What difference is it from a Ugandan person who takes sacks of money and buys waraji and say, all of you, you go congregate in playground X. Afterwards, the waraji will be in the entire playground.
And openly talks
yes,
about
absolutely.
it.
You see? So the point here is that this is a bigger vice. It's not just a Ugandan thing. Go to Nigeria. Look at how much money is being used by those governors, those who campaign for senators, roles. You go to our neighbors here in Kenya and look at the amount of money. Actually, in Kenya, it is fashionable. If you want to become a senator, you want to become a governor or something, and you don't have a chopper, choppers, you see, you are not talking. Now, how many here can afford choppers? We have had a case, probably which my sister was going to, whereby people resign from government jobs, and he or she goes to the constituency, and the constituency, she or he causes inflation. Where does that money come from? You see, at the end of the day. So what are the benefits after you have gone to the parliament for the 5 years? So at the end of the day, you will find that yes, we have got institutions, government institutions, to do respective functions, like we are talking about civic education, but because we don't have enough resources, and probably there is limited political will to make that institution work, we have got shortage of civic education. And when civic education is in high deficiency, you are going to have a citizenry that is less empowered. And being less empowered means that you are not going to be able to make an informed decision. So the quality which our brother Ibrahim Semuju talks about, of our legislators in parliament has continued, with all due respect. I'm not saying because they meet the parameters, the Electoral Commission receives them, they campaign and they go to Parliament. So I'm not saying that they are not qualified to join the Parliament. But we must be frank. We have seen different parliaments. The 5th, 6th, we know the MPs that have graced that house. So when we talk about the quality of parliamentarians declining, one of the factors, probably I wish somebody can do some good, maybe independent research about that. Also, the money factor influencing the quality of legislators in our parliament. When you have a shortage of quality legislators, when there is that shortage of quality legislators, then you automatically, as a consequence, also get the service delivery compromised. Because in majority of the cases, the legislators will not know their role. All they think about is, let's get money. After all, we are going to go to the constituency, intoxicate the voters with waraji. Then we have got a repeat of the institutions mandated to do the work. They are not doing it. That vacuum, you see, vacuum is never accepted by the laws of nature. When there is that vacuum, then the people will come with money from wherever they would have gotten it from, and they are going to find themselves in parliament. I want to end by telling you that as long as increasingly political offices or politics for that matter, the delivery of services to the people, the August House is a commercial place. People look at politics as work, where they or business, where they must get profits and share dividends. I can assure you that we are not going anywhere, and that is the dilemma of not just Uganda, but Africa, and if I'm not mistaken, this is a global problem.
Christopher Lwanga.
Yes, sir.
You are head of research at the Uganda People's Congress.
Yes, sir.
From what you gather,
Yes, please.
spending money during an election, which is inevitable,
Yes, sir.
at what point is the money okay, and at what point is it not? Yeah, when do we say, oh, now this is legitimate, or now democracy is for sale?
I'm sorry that I may take you a little bit back. When they restored the political parties in 2006, Uganda People's Congress participated alongside the other political parties. But the time we participated, we had an experience of participating in 1958 elections, 1961 elections, 1962 elections, 1980 elections. With all those elections we are talking about, a political party was owning a candidate 100%. A political party, whether it is DP, whether it is KY, whether it is the UNC, Abu Mayanja, what, okay, those formations. A political party was owning that candidate 100%. Now, when it came to 206, it became the reverse. A candidate was funding himself or herself to a tune of over 90%. A political party would only step in for not less than 10%. And a political party would step in to accredit you that you get our flag and participate in the process. Now,
That sort of situation undermined our democracy and undermined the voice of the political parties, and it enabled whoever has managed to raise the money bags to win and succeed. And then when he succeeds, others who have lost, okay, they will feel aggrieved. Now, what did it mean? It meant that if I want constituency A, I will start very early, immediately after 2026, to invest, to create networks. By the time 2031 comes, I've already laid the ground, I've already scared the incumbent, and for the incumbent to remain in the game, the incumbent has also to budget nicely, such that every end of the month, he can take some investments back to the constituency. What is so paining, where an MP has been taken, that is not his area. It is either the area of a central government or a local government. An MP has been taken in the area of providing a truck to distribute water. An MP has been taken to the area of providing an ambulance, sustaining an ambulance as if is a medical superintendent or a district health officer. An MP has been taken to the issues of providing boreholes. An MP has been taken to the issues of even opening up roads which are impassable. An MP has been taken to the issues of supplying mattresses and beddings in our...
But who is taking the MP?
Eh?
Who is taking the MP?
The political landscape.
And so
The political landscape, we did not have this type of
therefore they need
elections.
the money.
We did not have this type of political landscape in 1958. We did not have it in 1961. We did not have it in 1962. We did not have it in 1980.
We have it now.
We have
they
it
need the
now.
money.
So where is the failure coming from?
But is
The
it a
failure-
failure? But is
Yes,
it a
it is a failure.
Uh-huh.
It is a failure. Because suppose suppose you don't have the money bags,
Then you don't go.
you don't go. Two, where have you got the money? I hope you people are all more exposed. Italy as a country is suffering from mafia money. These, I have heard you talking about South America, Caribbean,
Venezuela,
okay? Venezuela.
Haiti, and
All those countries are suffering from such type of money. Because this money is not traceable, okay? And if it is traceable, it is not very straightforward. I cited those examples of the 6 cities. You could cite our money where it is coming from. You could cite that, yes, Abdul Gamel Nasser has realized there is UNC which is struggling. Come to Cairo, establish an office. Come to Cairo, establish a radio station. What are your challenges back home? Here is the money. Other politicians want to confuse that money. But you could trace it. We come to 1980. Zimbabwe recognized the role UPC had done in drumming up their case against the illegal arms. But they also said you are going for an election and you are a sister ideological political party. Have this means of transport to help you.
So,
Okay?
we need money.
Yeah, we need money, but in an
we
institutionalized
need
way.
the billions. So the worry now is not the billions, but where it's coming from.
We need the money in an institutionalized way, where you have not tied your hands. Let me give you this example. In 1984, the late Tiny Roland of Ronro came to Uganda, and his main idea was to secure the construction of an oil pipeline from Western Kenya to Western Uganda, or to Kampala. Then at the same time also, he wanted the monopoly of cotton sales. When he approached the cooperative minister, he was referred to the president, who happened to be the finance minister. In the discussion in the room, Obote objected. He said, this cotton and coffee, you may sell it in non-quota areas and you over dump it there, and we have a problem with our prices falling. Then this pipeline, you have already declared yourself you are an investor of such a multinational. Uganda government cannot guarantee you. It is you to do the work as an investor, and we watch it. Then Tiny Roland the late said, he remarked, but in 1985 December, you are going for elections. I would find a way, I chip in to facilitate the elections. But I simply told him, get out of my office. And I wish there was someone,
Okay.
I would have arrested you.
No, I hear the very good things that the late Dr. Obote did,
Yes.
and I appreciate them. It's just that now
May his sorrow rest in eternity.
I am in 2025. I have to spend billions to find a way of coming to parliament and going to power. And so, Faridah, this blanket condemnation of money in the elections, we need money to pull off an election. So I am not sure that this blanket condemnation is fair.
Yeah, because one, for example, if a presidential candidate, take for example a presidential candidate, he has to move with a team, and you have to facilitate that team. You need fuel. You need to feed these people that you are going to actually move with. You need to pay for the ground where you're going to have campaigns. You need a lot of expenses. So that means that is why the chairman stressed that you can fundraise. It is okay to fundraise. And when he talked about America, yes, they do fundraise, because for a candidate to move around the US, you actually need money. You need money to pay for the venues, also to move with the campaign team, for the PR, also PR say to make your message out there. You need money to pay all those PR firms, all the TV stations and then the radio stations. So it is okay to fundraise and see how you can actually sell yourself as a candidate. But the point is, if it is okay to fundraise and get that money, but it is wrong for you to come and pay Faridah 1,000 shillings to impress. In most cases, people say, please vote for me. So that is where the point, the weakness is, that if you want my vote, you don't have to come and pay me 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 to impress me to vote you into leadership. At least you can explain yourself and make sure that you understand the issues that affect the community, put them there. But it is wrong for you to begin giving people money here and there. That means you are creating a vice that you're not going to solve. That anytime you come back, for example, if Baguma, you come to my home and you bring me pineapples, every time you come to my home you bring pineapples. The day you come without pineapples, I'll feel annoyed. I'll just get annoyed and say, but he's there. I didn't even tell him to bring pineapples each time he comes to my home. Today, why? It so happens that the day you come, maybe we are hungry but we have been taking your pineapple for granted. But today, where you don't even have money to bring the pineapple, we actually find ourselves also in that position where we need it more. So we feel angry and we start demanding. In our hearts, we're still demanding for it. So we have to go back as a country and make this correct. How we have to find it, because we are all feeling it is a problem. Even these people who are dishing out money, they do not want to dish it out because they think it's a toll on them. So but they have no way out. They have to give out money because the voters out there are actually waiting for it. We were in Kabale, Ibanda, and the people were seated on ground waiting for Tango Doi to give them money. We are not going to vote until Tango Doi gives us money. So, and when he gives us money, we'll be able to go and vote. You can imagine, it was coming to 4, but they were seated waiting for the money. I felt so bad because I'm passionate about elections. So I felt so bad. These people are taking this for granted just because of the small monies that they are waiting for to make a decision. And at the end of the day, these people will not take them serious, because they think that people are there for money or for those small monies. That's why when you start crying, government etuyambe, they cannot, because they are busy. They cannot take you for granted. They don't actually feel your voice. They do not feel your pain. If you can put that pain during campaign time and you make your point, the way you make it when the people are already in parliament, when you have already sent them to parliament, if you can make that voice at this particular moment, that you know, how are you going to sort the water problem in Utambara? We don't have water. How are you going to sort it? And if anyone or Mwanga Chivumbi cannot explain for the 5-10 years, I'm not campaigning here, but I'm just putting a point. For the past 10 or 15 years you've been in parliament, you cannot even lobby for us water. You cannot even talk to National Water to come and say, bring water to Butambara, which is just closed. That means that we cannot trust you with the leadership. But the people down there will not look at it. As long as you give them 1,000 shillings, they'll say, okay, they'll begin clapping. And they will forget about the water problem in the area. And for example, an MP is supposed to explain, how is it going to sort? How is he going to work with government? How is he going to lobby to make sure that the products that you produce in your community have market, such that you don't look at this MP. At the end of the day, if I have 10,000 shillings in my pocket, why would I look at Baguma, quietly looking at Baguma, waiting for him to give me 1,000 shillings to go for lunch? I already have made my 10,000 in my wallet. I'm able to take my kids to school. I'm able to feed my family. So if each time we go into the cycle, we have not sorted the problem. We have not sorted the problem. The same problem will occur.
Okay, we are going to go for a short break. But when we come back, among the things that I would like to talk about, and this is what you have introduced, the role of the voter. You see, if that's what the voter expects, and that is what is going to win me my seat, I mean, why do you guys think I should not do it? You know, and so we need to discuss the role of the voter in the monetization, in the manufacture in elections. And why do we call it that this democracy is on sale, really?
Comrade Baguma, there is one writer, as we go for that break, who said, was it Francis Ibuga, that when the madness of an entire nation disturbs a solitary mind, it is not enough to say the man is mad. The entire political question is terrible in the continent. The voter and the voted are all crazy.
Okay. So on that crazy note, let's go for a short break. It's the Ballot 2026 Family TV. Don't go away. We'll be back in a minute to examine the issues of monetization of our elections and whether democracy is on sale. Thank you for staying with us. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. But in case you've just joined us, it's the Ballot 2026 comes your way on Family TV every Wednesday night between 9 and 11, and we are talking about the money factor in the elections this time. And we are wondering, is democracy on sale? In studio, I have Faridah Lule. Faridah Lule is an accredited voter educator of Ushahidi Foundation Uganda. I have Daniel Rugarama, a Pan-Africanist, the chair of the Pan-African movement in Uganda. He's a lawyer, an election analyst, and he has worked for the Electoral Commission previously. Also, Christopher Lwanga, who is head of ideology and research at the Uganda People's Congress. Now, we talked about several things, but I want to come to you first, Faridah. Faridah, you are talking to the electorate, you'll be going to them. Here we are, like someone said, we are probably equalizing poverty, and we want people not to spend money, but we also know that people need to spend money. How much is a lot? What is a bribe? Which one is not a bribe? What is the legitimate amount? You know, if you collect billions, should you not spend it? But also, we are speaking as if it is only the candidates that are driving this increasing amounts of money that are being spent. But actually, one can argue that the voters are equally culpable, if they are culpable at all, about their demands that they put on these candidates, and even when they go to office, the office bearers. So Faridah, isn't it true that the voters actually are culprits in this monetization?
It is very true. The voters are culprits, and at a certain extent, or at a big extent, I really assume that the voters sometimes decide to play otherwise, but they know what to do. Sometimes they know what to do. Because take, for example, in Chadondo, when Bobi Wine was a candidate as a member of parliament, I was eager to see, because the time was so short that the Electoral Commission did not even sensitize, neither did we actually sensitize the voters. But I am telling you, the number of invalids in Chadondo were very few, that the voters in Chadondo were eager because they knew what they want. They wanted Bobi Wine to elect their candidate. So they were very, very, very careful. Even when they were ticking, they made sure that the vote is clear and they do not spoil their vote. So when the returning officer was reading the invalids, I was so surprised that the invalids in Chadondo were so few. So meaning that these voters can actually, if they really understand and they want the economy, they want the community to change, they can actually perform better than they are performing. They can say no to money and put their issues, because these issues are affecting them directly. They are not affecting the politicians, but they are affecting them directly. And it's not their first time that the issues are affecting them. It is the issues have been there. Why is it that they are behaving the same way, accepting these small monies, yet they have experienced that when the politicians came to us, they gave us 500. But that was the situation. The politicians have come back again. Again, you are accepting the same 500 shillings. So what is wrong with the voters? So someone would say, no. I think we should. These guys are right. We should leave them. We should let them there, because it is not the first time the candidates are spending money. This is not the first election. We've had elections in 1996. We have election in 1986. We had the elections in 2000, and the same occurrences. But people are not learning from history. Why?
And that's the question I want to go to Lwanga, because Lwanga, you're head of ideology, you're head of research at the Uganda People's Congress. The voters have a role in the monetization of an election. So, and the question is, why shouldn't the voters expect the money?
Thanks very much, Comrade Baguma.
Each political party has a way it does its work. Some of the work may be done in a uniform way, or may be done in a different way. I need specifically to talk the heart and soul of Uganda's people, the Congolese. The first role of a party member of UPC is to know what the party believes in and wants you to do. That is one aspect. The second aspect is that spirit of voluntarism. Facilitate voluntarism within a party member. But a party member should not behave like a mercenary towards a fellow party member. I've participated in 2006 elections, 2011 elections, 2016 elections, mainly in northern Uganda. The culture I found in the Rango sub-region,
Where you always win.
before even you say where you always win, okay, is that our party managed to bring the structures from top to the actual village. And as the structures are at actual village, they are always interacting, they are always discussing, and they are always preparing their mind. If it is an election as it is in January and before the campaign is kick off, people who are going to volunteer, whether they are border riders, they have prepared themselves in advance that come this time, it is fully blown up politics going on, and they report base to respective places. And what do they want where they report base? One, politics is busy. If you have not had breakfast, okay, you even fail to eat roasted cassava during that exercise. So they have the breakfast very ready, they have their leaves very ready, they have everything very ready, a campaign trail takes off. Then on coming back with the fatigue, with what other groups of party volunteers have prepared meals. A tea, you take it very hot, and you get energized. Then the last round for the middle cadre and the top cadre is to review how the day has moved and what is the next program. Okay, you plan until the whole exercise is over. But if that was to be that you are pulling from your pocket to have all those volunteers to do what? You would collapse. So, a voter in Uganda has been denied an infrastructure with all each political parties. I've carried my manifesto here, but once you read the manifesto, the key important area of a political party is the branch. How many political parties in Uganda have these effective branches? And because there is an absence of that, there is no flow of information from top to bottom and from bottom to top. And Uganda has appreciated that situation since the return of multi-partyism. But these other countries have done much better. They have put up sustainable structures. And when now you have sustainable structures, you can confront these political challenges, all these malaise, with a clear-headed follow-up. That is one aspect. The second aspect is that don't delink freedom, human rights from the nature of our education system. All of you are here, but I doubt how many of you have your children in UPE schools, in UCE schools. How many? Okay? You are going to find that a number of us, we have created UPE schools, we have created UCE schools, but we don't put there our children. And there is no country which is better than her education system. Whether Japan is powerful, the education system is powerful. Whether Germany is powerful, the education system is powerful. Now it comes to Uganda.
And election money.
Yes. Where is our education system? Which values does it drop there? In the 6 cities, this element of student councils and debates were directly taken to the schools to build a culture of leadership.
Yeah, but even in the schools now, if you want to have an office,
yes,
you have to spend money.
This is what I'm trying to explain. The culture which was put there in our schools at that time was different. And we are not following UPE, we are not following UCE.
But now, you have to have money on the table.
Now you must have
this
money.
You must agree that things change. And
no,
they have changed.
We cannot accept things to change in a bad way and we say, yes, let us continue with the bad way. There is a change. We were in Idokoro. Money was flying, but did the UPC people fall for the money? They said no. Here we are more enlightened. Let us toughen. Let us do this. Let us do this. So what I'm trying to say, much as is talking of civic education, what have you, the political parties have to take it as a cardinal responsibility that we cannot do sustainable politics if it is based on money chasing money. Let ideas chase ideas. Let ideologies chase ideologies.
Comrade Rugarama, I think it's the Waganda who say Omav Tates.
That one is, I could not have said it any better. You see, the democracy has been evolving. In America, for instance, our dear sisters started voting not so long ago. They were not voting.
The women were not voters.
Women were not voters.
Yes.
In America, the so-called epitome of democracy, the less economically empowered were actually, even up to now, I don't think they are voters. To the extent that like in Uganda here, a criminal offense, if there is a mark on you as having committed a crime or something like that, you are not entitled to vote. And you see the nature of democracy itself, by the way, is not all encompassing. You remember that Hillary Clinton, by the way, won the popular vote, which for us here, she would be the president. But it doesn't matter whether you have won the popular vote, you have many votes. At the end of the day, there are some representative constituencies. When you get more votes there, or you win them, then you become the president. So at the end of the day, this thing called democracy, the point I'm trying to make is that this thing called democracy, it varies. It has got its shapes and sizes. Now, worst case scenario is for us in Africa, or those other countries which were largely colonized. We have got this, a democracy which was bestowed upon us. Now we are fighting all this animal called democracy that we are fighting with, which is electoral democracy. You see, which we are fighting with, is not ours. It's not indigenous. It was not cropped by us. It's not like stone age that you are now sharpening stones. You have now gone into smelting. You now have iron ore turned into spears and arrows. That you are now leaving the trees and you have entered the hearts. Therefore, you are evolving education-wise. No. Here, it is something that was brought us upon colonialism, And when they were departing, these are the structures. We have largely, the entire Africa has largely not changed any political structure from when the white man left. Now, that in itself has got a lot of problems. Why do I say so? I say so because this is something, even averagely now, Africa has been, they say we have re-energized ourselves by chasing away the white man about 60 years. You can put it roughly 60 years. But even after 60 years, we have not yet devised means of governing ourselves. That's why a man like Chunwachebe, writing about the problem of Nigeria, which title could as well have been, what is the problem of Africa? He says the problem of Nigeria is governance. The problem of Africa is governance. And it is governance because the type of governance which we have is not something that we developed ourselves. My colleague, a senior Pan-Africanist, Joshua Maponga Marara III, said not long ago that Africa now, at this stage, we do not want this fancy democracy that the white man left. We need dictatorship for some time, such that a benevolent dictator who brings development to his people, water that we are talking about, good roads, factories, jobs, education, indigenous education. My brother here was talking about the education of the 60s and the 70s and what have you. Well, I will agree with him to the extent that you see, you may have a bad system because education that the white man gave us can't be good. No, it is inherently forte. The English we speak here, the science we learn in schools is not to empower us to change our continent. Never. There is no way a white man could have loved us that much that he leaves anything good to us. Just such that what? We empower ourselves and we get rid of him. How will the neocolonialism therefore operate? So therefore, the problems we have with our voter, who is me and you and somebody down there, is largely to do with not the just mere education system, but it is the mode of democracy which we inherited and has been growing, and the white man is very happy with it. Because when we stay in this confusion of every after a cycle of 5 years, or whatever years, then actually speaking 5 years, we go into the so-called elections, then we have the observers, then the observers, they used to be European. When a European observer has not given you a thumbs up, then you know they will go to the CNN, BBC, and they will say that the elections were not free and fair, and therefore they are not going to offer, their governments are not going to offer any cooperation. And we go into those circles until I think a few years ago, when the majority of African countries started disregarding some of these things. What we need, if we must get, because it is not good, they say we have lamented enough. You will even find people, by the way, who say, you cannot, after 63, in the case of Uganda, 63 years of independence, when the white man left, you are still talking about the problems of the white man. Oh, cry the beloved country. When did the white man leave?
But the white man does not keep you in your house.
Actually,
does not give you money.
Actually, he does not only keep you in your house. He also governs how you access education, how you access the health system, the health systems within your country. If you doubt that, then you go back to COVID-19 and saw what was happening.
But the Mzungu is not the white person you are saying. He's not the one telling the candidates to give out money or telling the voters
Actually,
to ask for it.
let me come to that.
Yes.
The truth of the matter is that when I talk the way I talk, I am not exonerating ourselves. We have got a fair share as Africans, as other democracies, of our own self-inflicted problems. We have them. We mismanage, we steal, we collapse systems, and to that extent, we are culpable. But I can assure you, there is something that needs extra lenses for one to see the invisible hand of somebody who operates through the IMF, World Bank, and it is the NGO world, so many other things, which ultimately come and impact on how you govern as a country. The point I'm making is that surely, although we have our own share of blame as Africans, how we manage our systems, it is not simple. Because you see, it's as if there is a blueprint. Has anybody ever asked himself, how come that no African country, almost no African country, including our largest economy like Nigeria, South Africa, you go to Nigeria, you will find the generators. They are in Ibadan, they are in Lagos. Generators, they don't have power. And the generators are making noise everywhere. You go to South Africa, you'll find in Johannesburg and other streets, the xenophobia. Do you think it is by coincidence that it is by DNA, my sister was talking about DNA, it's by DNA that African man is reconcilable to common sense? My brother here, senior brother, was talking about Abdul Gamar Nasser. He's one of the Pan-African grandfathers, the Abdul Gamar Nasser in Egypt. That is their time. Abdul Gamar Nasser, Olympiokos, Osejefo Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, Julius Mahimu Nyerere, Ben Bera. You know, I can go on and on and on. That crop of leadership, if you think you can exonerate the imperialists, that crop of leadership around immediately after the Organization of African Unity Conference, OAU, what happened to them?
Yeah, and that's, you see, and that's the question. because the two of you especially are just
what happened to them?
No, because you see, this is the question. Because the two of you are taking me back in history and blaming our taking money.
I'm showing you the dysfunctional system which has been persistent, and it has got where it is coming from. Such that if we had solved it, if we had solved the dilemma, the problem we are experiencing in our democracy, electoral democracy, is not a God-given. It is not as a result of intellectual deficiency. It is a deliberate policy coming from somewhere. We must correct it. There is a man called Kosera in the darkness at noon. He writes, just a minute, Baguma. Yes. He writes and says that we have from time and again diagnosed the disease with microscopic exactness. But every time we hold up a healing knife, a new sore appears. Africa, I can assure you, during the time of those people I'm telling you about, including even recently, the Dr. Pombe Magufuli, may his soul rest in eternal peace, they had correctly diagnosed the problem of Africa, and they were applying remedy.
And then?
They died somehow.
Yeah. No, but you see, let me come to Faridah. Farid, these gentlemen have threatened to derail my show. These gentlemen are not talking about the current. Every time I ask them, they take me back to the 60s. Yes. Faridah, you are an election voter educator in 2025. We can talk about all the corpses of the African leaders until tomorrow. However, the current voter will collect their money. The current voter, I have been to follow the candidates. Even today, they were drumming Kadondi near my home. after registration, what do you call it? Nomination.
Nomination.
Because the nomination office for Nakawa is near.
Your office.
Yes. And the people were pointing here on their throats. So we can come and talk about all the men that died and did great things. We are not talking about the voter who is asking for money now. So for how long are we going to be going back 80 years, 60 years, when we have the issue right here? So for me, Faridah, you are going to educate the voter. You have been accredited to educate the voter. The voter is asking for money. If you don't give it to them, they will not give you a vote. In fact, somebody was arguing that because the voter turnout has become low, it come from, I don't know, 206, was it 70, more than 70%.
It has been declining.
Now we are at 50 something. That if they don't even give them money, it will even become 40. So Faridah.
The voter turnout in 1996 was at 72.58%. In 2001,
now, it is less than
69.
50 something.
2021, it's 59. That is voter turnout. So it has, in fact, I'm yet to understand why in 2000 it was a bit higher and now it is reducing. Why is it that it is reducing every time we go for an election? It is likely to reduce from 59 still. It scares.
So that if you don't give them money, they will not come even more. They will not come even
to turn up and vote. But I know that the category of people that are actually not turning up to vote are the Bagumas of this world, the Richards of this world. The people who actually consistently turn up to vote are those ones that are dancing Kadodi. And we have not taken chance, we have not given them an opportunity to actually tell them it is not only dancing Kadodi. It is more than that. It is more than that to actually, if you are feeling thirsty, because they think that election season is time for making money. That I should go to Baguma, I should go to Faridah's campaign and get some money, and that is it. For him, he has settled his deal. And whatever happens after the election, it's like it is none of his business. He thinks that life has ended there. And he cannot do much after election. Yet, if we sensitize this person and we empower this person will be able to demand even before the election time, even on election time, even after the election time. But the opportunity of empowering the voters has not been given neither to the Uganda Human Rights Commission or the Electoral Commission and us. Because if we empower the voters even before the electoral cycle begins, that you know what, this is how you are able to assess your member of parliament. And please note your issues. What are the issues that are affecting your community? Your member of parliament is supposed to be a voice to your community. But are you actually engaging your member of parliament? What the voter does after they have voted the member of parliament is to call this person for a burial. If they don't see you at the burial ceremony, if they don't see you at the party, if they don't see you at the dua, then you are bad. Meaning that they are actually driving this member of parliament in the wrong direction.
And in all those situations, you must give money.
Yeah, and in all those situations, you have to give money. So if you don't come back, they'll say, no, we did not see him back. But he's not supposed to be there, because if you engage him at the burial ceremony, if you expect him, because it is not a must that everyone has to come and bury. It is not a must that he's supposed to be part of that dua at home in the community. Because if you engage him that way, he will not be able to represent your voices in parliament. He will not be able to make a point in parliament because he's busy in the community, running from this person. Because in the community, everyone, they bury at almost in every week, there is a person who has died. So meaning that the community itself, it's getting it wrong. You are engaging the member of parliament and he's not representing. Now for him, he's not making sense of what he's supposed to do. He's now making sense of these small things that you're engaging him out. Because if you do not, he's part of you, but you're not telling him that, you know what, we do not, when he comes to the dua, then you start gold smiling, honorable, we do not want this, we want money. Instead of raising at that engagement, raise the issues that are affecting the community. Our kids are unemployed, and it is affecting the community because they have become redundant, they are drinking, they are taking marijuana. At that engagement, make sure that you have a point. You engage your member of parliament. Please make sure that we can talk to the people in parliament for us to help solve a problem in this community. That those engagements do not happen. If us, the voters, the educators, would be supplementing on those small engagements that members of parliament, where you even have your voice, you have the opportunity, but you don't use it. Because I don't know whether you're empowered, but even if we empower you, in my own home, how will I fail to understand that my husband is not providing food? Does it call for Baguma to come in my home to make me understand that if my husband is not providing food, it's going to affect my children? So that means that you, the voters, have the role to wake up. The voters of Uganda, wake up. Wake up and make your case. Stop dancing Kadodi and also end it there. Stop following and running after candidates and exciting the environment. At the end of the day, you come back and cry. Why should you cry? You cry and cry and cry until you die, and you live in that poverty state when your issues are not handled. So it's better to make your case now. Make sure that you make the right decisions. Stop engaging members in bars at matter to build. You want a member of parliament to come and be part of your matter to game. That is completely wrong. That is completely wrong, and the MPs are also encouraging it because they fear, they live in fear of losing. If you have been in parliament, if you have been in parliament for 15 years, you still have the fear to lose an election. Even that more. Means you're also like the voters. You're also in poverty levels. Because at the end of the day, if in 15 years you've not been able to empower yourself economically and you are actually down to the levels of the voters, that means that you are not a good leader. They should actually vote you out.
All right. You see, Lwanga, you talked about Dokoro.
Yes.
And he said, oh, it was raining money, but people stood firm.
Yes, please.
So what do we do to make many Dokoros? I mean, without going back to the 1960s, what do we do? Because Dokoro didn't happen in 1960.
Yes. Actually, let me give you an example of 2010. In 2010, I was in charge of UPC Ideology School. And we had an opportunity.
Where is that?
2010.
Where is that school?
At the headquarters, and we have outreaches.
Okay.
So I was in charge of UPC Ideology School. Then I was assigned to take a team of about 10 members to Teso sub-region, and we are headquartered in Soroti to do outreaches and to do other party work, but now with trained cadres. And media being important, my team of useful players across the country were invited. And for the first time, the Teso airwaves were captured by these younger men who were doing the job. Now, a UPC diehard, middle class, he has retired, followed all our debates, and even reports were also coming this way. But it is as if there is a rebirth of UPC in Teso sub-region or in the area. Then they said, who is the head of these people? Then they were told, Lwanga Christopher Apollo, a Muganda from Wachiso. It also kept some puzzles. Then that gentleman said, let that team come and meet me. This is now a voter, senior party member. He appreciated our contribution and said, please, can you have a VIP breakfast for yourselves? We said, God is great. And we took everything in a Congress spirit. Later on, I dispatched the groups to Kabulamaido, what have you, and they met the late Yadu, who was even more excited and pulled out his goat from the tree where he has tied it, and it was slaughtered in the honor of the contribution of these people. Okay? Why am I saying this? If a party realizes the need to sanitize politics and do politics in a better way, and says, come rain, come sunshine, let us try to do our contribution in this way. Expect that to have a multiplier effect within the party, and other parties may be forced to imitate. Okay? So we need to sober up, we need to feel pity on ourselves, and we need to know that we are living in yesterday like us, but we have the grandchildren who are going to inherit Uganda. Should they inherit Uganda, which is over commercialized in politics? It means, Mr. Baguma, your grandchildren will sell off your home. They will sell off your investments in order to remain in politics.
The ones who are winning are not selling off their home. Some may be.
No,
but you see, if we use the approach
yes,
of having a breakfast and pulling out goats, then the role of a political party, which is to capture power,
yes,
then you will not capture power.
no, you capture.
The ones who have money will keep capturing.
You
so
capture.
the role of your party will not be achieved.
No, let me tell you.
Hey.
A person who has appreciated me or who has appreciated a team in that manner goes with the message, which is physical, which is ideological, which is spiritual. And it gives you a basis of rebuilding from there, because he has welcomed you with both hands. Okay? And has appreciated the little you are doing in these difficult circumstances, and is the one who is even going to be a disciple to bring in more people and to start seeing things differently. Mr. Baguma, I happened to have left Uganda in 1988 and went to Zambia. I only came back in 2006. But I was surprised to find Zambians that when you ask him where is Sheraton Hotel, a Zambian will not only end at showing you the direction, but he will even escort you up to the gate of Sheraton, because he realizes you don't know the direction. Then we also realize the society where people are not physically fighting each other. And when they try to do a physical fight, others are eager to jump in to stop the physical fight. Our values in politics, that is where they got lost. We need to restore that politics. I can give you more historic examples or current examples.
Yeah, because
so
you see,
to restore that,
yeah.
And I want to tell you, there is no shortcut in politics which is sustainable. UPC, we agree, we are like a DMC vehicle, dangerous motor, mechanical condition. Okay? It can take you from Kampala to Jinja when you are experienced on how to handle it. And it can bring you back. But if you don't know how to operate a DMC, it may not even take you a kilometer. Now the context of Uganda is a DMC. That money you are saying a voter is demanding, it is his right. It is in the context of being a DMC. And we cannot say that we allow that situation to continue. Please, if it continues, then we have mortgaged Uganda. Then we have nothing to do in politics. Okay? It is unsustainable.
Rugarama.
Yes.
Yes.
This man says we are in a dangerous money condition politically.
Yeah.
But you see, it means that if your party, NRM, starts behaving like UPC, it will also be out of power. And it will not get, I mean, if it waits for Dokoro, the people want the money.
Well, for the record, at least from where I stand, NRM is not about to get out of power. I hate to be the bearer of bad news to those who think that we are getting out anytime soon. I hope that is settled. Two, I have realized over time that we have got a problem, and I hope that because it is curable. You know, in the law we have curable and incurable defects. But the problem we have is that we have got a declining class of people who, in trying to solve a problem, be it political, health, economic, and otherwise, do not give the history of a problem. It's very, very, very critical in life. You see, even in physical or biological sciences, when you go to hospital, the doctor will say, when did this start? How were you feeling? When, at night, or during the day, or in the morning? All that is the history of the disease. And then from there, you will begin on prescription. So when you see our president and the chairman of NRM, the mighty party NRM, historize, give the history of Uganda, give the history of Africa, give the history of the world. Then he zeroes on, after telling you all that, then he says, now the problem was that in those years. It became that after 40 years. Now the problem is this. And therefore, in order to solve it, this is what we must do. And that is how NRM got a number of issues sorted out because of getting to know the history of these very problems. We have not done some of the problems have not been sorted out.
Like the monetization of your primaries.
It is growing.
Has
yes.
not been solved.
And we have admitted. You see, the problem I have had with some of my colleagues is failure to admit that even in NRM, I think God loves us so much that even with some of these weaknesses that we have, which are apparent and we admit, we still continue to grow and we are a mass party. And we are not about to go away. But hopefully, as we talk about some of these challenges and we admit they are there and we start working on them, then we shall solidify and move forward as a stronger force. The problem of a voter who is not empowered, and that's where Faridah is coming from, and that is where my senior brother is also coming from. He tells you what was in UPC, the glorious days of UPC. But with all that, what happened to UPC?
Even 20 times.
You see?
No, you see.
UPC is now no more. But for us who come from Bushage, I don't know where you're from, Wajiso. Now, I can tell you, you are UPC. Actually, in Bushage, even when I was a small kid, the likes of the Uncle Christopher Lwanga CCs, I don't need to be around where. You know, the strong guys were from there. I hope you know that for a record.
By the way, I'm an elected official of PWD in Wachiso on UPC ticket.
There you go. So at the end of the day, you will find that yes, political parties which along the way fail to capitalize on the historical mistakes and improve themselves with the view of making the future better, they lose. And they are wiped out.
As you conclude, we have a problem of, we all agree that we have a problem of huge amounts of money
in politics,
in our elections. we are concluding the program. So
Yes.
each one of you has probably 2 minutes or so to go.
So I can use my 2 minutes about that.
What do we do? Because I don't want us to read the book of Lamentations and go away.
No, there is what we call, there is what my senior colleague, Professor Rumumba Othieno, should be the name, popularly known as P.R.O. Rumumba, calls political hygiene. Some of these things is not rocket science. And he was delivering a lecture, I think, at Mwalimu Julius Nyerere Institute in Tanzania, where he talked about political hygiene, and he said that Dar es Salaam was getting it right. There is, and indeed we know that during the time of Dr. Pombe Magufuli, certain things were being done correctly, the way they should be done under the auspices of Pan-Africanism. I can assure you that one of the cancers we are having in NRM as a party and in our country is the growing corruption. Our chairperson has talked about it, and the president, he himself, the president, has also emphasized, he has said, let's devise further means of combating corruption. Saturation, use of money in politics to undesired ends is a big problem. We recognize it. It reared its ugly head during the NRM primaries, and I don't think it is going to go away even in the general elections that we have. What we need to do, therefore, is to continue the campaign of combating flow of money in an regulated manner, and I think this platform and other platforms that we may initiate is a good avenue of sorting out that problem.
Lwanga,
Yes, please.
what should we do? Should we let the money continue? How do we turn the tide?
We have to combat monetization of politics. Our foundation of restorative politics is having a lot of itches. To form a political party, it has become a very difficult game. Yet most of these other countries, you just wake up with your other people, you declare that you have formed a political party. Then the political landscape is there. Survive it, raise a candidate, do what? You don't have too much of these limitations. Then when it comes to other requirements, like in the unelective politics of here, it is as if we are just stabbing ourselves in the heart. If an MP before he starts the journey has to pay 3 million to the government, and I don't know how much to a political party. Some political parties are in the range of 1 million. So the whole thing goes straight to 4 million. A presidential candidate within a party structure to stand may be required to pay something like a 20 or 15 million. Then the other side of the government, 20. And then he has to traverse on a very tight program. Yet before, politics was not like that. Baguma, you can head a younger political party which is understood with limited resources. You will even map where you can cycle, where you can dance, until you build your capacity. Now, all that, because we are coming from no party democracy, where people were not understanding it properly, we tied our hands in the rope.
So how do we untie?
We need to untie by benchmarking Uganda from the time they had political parties, and by benchmarking our friends who have done it and even changed the governments. Countries like Malawi are very good to benchmark, Ghana very good to benchmark, Zambia very good to benchmark. But we should not remain in this cocoon of ours where all politics is very hard. And Comrade Baguma, before I go, before I leave the floor, UPC got the instruments of independence on behalf of Uganda. How does it sound that UPC cannot field a party president, a presidential candidate, 2016, 2021, 2026, you see that there is something challenging our politics. So let us make conditions more flexible. In Egypt, they realized that marrying is very difficult. The state now came in, they are arranging bigger weddings for all those who are volunteering to be couples. So let also our government create an enabling environment for those willing to be in politics, to form political parties, to reach the ground, to things to be more flexible. Yeah. But things are not very flexible now.
I will not bring iPod here, but people are receiving billions and hundreds of millions. But Faridah, you are going to the field. Monetization of politics, particularly elections, is at probably the highest it has ever been in this country. Wind up with what you are going to be telling people in the field. How do we deal with this?
In my own, I've just launched a campaign, Kura yangu ni sauti yangu, my voice, my vote is my voice. Akarulu candidate was yangi. Me personally, I doubt whether any politician would come to Faridah and bribe Faridah, because they know for a fact that Faridah is empowered. They know that Faridah is empowered, and he will never accept money from any politicians to buying her as in the exchange of her vote. That cannot happen. So likewise, this is what the message I'm going to carry forward to the voters, that I've managed to build my own empire without being bribed by politicians. So please pay attention, value your vote, let it have your voice, and let your voice be heard through the ballot. And when that voice is heard, the politicians will make a U-turn and begin to actually follow your values. But it also goes back to His Excellency, the President of this country. The ball is in your hands. The ball is in your hands. Get the bull by its horns and make solve this problem before it gets worse. Because you have the mandate, you can actually do it. We cannot go ahead to have money in politics and commercialize everything. For example, the people who are actually spending money in NRM primaries, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament spent over 6 billion. A civil servant, where do you get all that money? And this person has not been cautioned by the executive. So she's not the only one. There are so many other people who are actually spending money, and they have been in civil servants. So if there is no authority that cautions these people, that means that so many people will see them and will admire them and will actually look up to them to get more money and also spend in what? In elections. So Your Excellency, still the ball is in your hands. You can sort this problem. We cannot say that reduce the allowances of members of parliament, because even the councillors are bribing. And what are they getting? Peanuts. But you see, they are also bribing to get into those offices. That means there is a big problem, and that big problem is unemployment. Let's empower our economy. Let's have people work. Let's have our population not look at politicians, but also let's create jobs such that they focus on empowering themselves economically.
The ballot 2026. Daniel Rugarama, thank you so much for joining us. Faridah Lule, thank you so much for joining us. Christopher Lwanga, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
And for you, the viewer who has stayed with us, we look forward to having you again next Wednesday at 9 p.m. for yet another edition of the Ballot 2026, where we dissect issues that are critical to us. Please get involved, get interested, participate in election matters. Listen to what the candidates are telling you, presidential, parliamentary, at every level, because your vote is your voice, and the way we get governed means we have a better future or we mortgage our future. We were focusing on the question of money in the elections, and we want to keep examining the issues that impact on our elections, impact on our governance, and the future of ourselves, the future of our country, but also the future of this nation. From Family TV, we say stay with us for continued programming. My name is Baguma Richard on behalf of the production team and everyone who has been able to participate in making this program a success. I thank you, the viewers, and wish you a good night. God bless you.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.